Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today we are unfortunately back with the Hatsuharu, and I was not expecting to come back to this ship, but unfortunately I have to since I did not have the foresight of buying a Fubuki to get the Akatsuki. So I'm having to go up through the line again to get to the Akatsuki, and I'm probably mispronouncing that quite terribly. So yes, I am having to go through the Hatsuharu again. Now she is almost very similar to the Hatsuharu the first time. You upgrade. She has actually a little bit less health than the Hatsuharu of the tier 7 before they did the split. The major benefit is going to be her guns reload a little bit faster than previously, but when you first get her, she has the 6-kilometer range torpedoes and a 6.5 detection on your ship. Yeah, so you really have to play it like a American destroyer, but we're going to take her out, show her off once again, show what has been improved, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. So I will see you guys there. Alright everyone, welcome back to a replay with the Hatsuharu, and this was actually the very first game that I played in with the Hatsuharu after the split. So it's been a very long time since I last had the Hatsuharu, and here you can actually see I'm kind of getting used to the Hatsuharu again. The Hatsuharu has 3 turrets. You upgrade to the B hull and you lose that turret, but you get more AA. I kind of like having that additional turrets, extra firepower, so very beneficial. But the major downside of this ship is the fact that her torpedoes can go out to 6 kilometers while you have a 6.5 kilometer detection. Yeah, you can upgrade the torpedoes, but when you first get her, oh, it sucks. It does indeed suck terribly. So we are playing on Estuary. There is a Ranger, Colorado, Gneisenau, Scharnhorst, Nagato, New Mexico, Belfast, Omaha, Akatsuki, Leningrad, Hatsuharu, and a Nicholas on the enemy team. There's a Ranger, Colorado, two Scharnhorst, Nagato, New Mexico, ARP Nachi, Nuremberg, Shiratsu, Leningrad, Farragut, and a Mutsuki. So I started moving off east. We are playing standard battle, so there are no capture points for us to actually go after, but I was trying to figure out how the Hatsuharu plays, and it really comes down to the fact that the developers have the idea that she should be played more as a gunboat than a torpedo boat, which I kind of agree, but your torpedoes are still really good. There is a very good tactic, actually a couple tactics you can use having these short-range kilometer torpedoes. One is attacking ships that are coming towards you, so allow them to move into your path of the torpedoes instead of relying on the range to hit them. So that's one good tactic. Another is very similar to how American destroyers operate. Since they had very short range torpedoes, it wasn't really a viable option for them to get stealthy in close and then launch torpedoes. So that's one idea. Now, I will have to say, Hatsuharu, I haven't really had a lot of good games with her, to say the very least. I'm just trying to grind my way through the Hatsuharu, and you can see I just had a huge lag spike, and all of a sudden I'm careening into the island. But fortunately, that did kind of prevent me from being spotted by any ships. Fortunately, there is a Scharnhorst I'm looking at where he's traveling, and I don't think my torpedoes are going to be able to actually hit him as he is starting to move away. Now, the enemy team is fortifying their cap. You can see that they're mostly in their cap. There's only one lone destroyer all the way out west. And I popped my smoke because I was going to try to help the Akatsuki because he made a very bad error, and unfortunately for him, he is just taking too much damage, and he has no damage control, so he is probably going to burn down. Now here is where they really want you to be playing the Hatsuharu. is the guns. The guns on the Japanese destroyers are not bad. They have decent range, depending on how your captain is, and if you go for the gun range for the Hatsuharu, they have a kind of slower arc. They sit between the destroyer on the USN line and the Soviet line, as the fact that they're a little bit lazy in the air, I guess you could say, but they still kind of travel to the point where you're wanting to go. Here I backed up a little bit too much. I'm going to probably get spotted by the aircraft if I don't get back in smoke, but I think we're good. So that's very, very nice. Now, the damage, or better yet, the alpha damage on the Japanese destroyers is actually really good. I am going to get spotted here because I had to go outside the safety of the smoke, but we should be fine. It looks like the dive bombers are actually moving away. Now, the enemy destroyer, I believe it's a Leningrad actually, that has made its way all the way up north, is currently fighting I believe a cruiser. Let's see, fighting our Leningrad, Belfast, and the Colorado. And that, I will have to say, that Leningrad that is currently up there is actually a decent player. He does survive for a very long time, but there is a slow moving Colorado. And getting back to a point about the guns is, if you ever get up to the, actually no longer the Fubuki, the Kagero and the Yugamo, especially the Yugamo, they really buffed the Japanese Yugamo's guns. So compared to how the Kagero was, definitely buffed the guns. The alpha damage is pretty decent. The fire chance is a little bit low. The Hatsuharu has a 7% fire chance, which isn't the greatest in the world, because it really does make it difficult to do significant damage against enemy battleships, but you can do pretty good damage against enemy destroyers, which the Hatsuharu really does decently well when fighting against other Japanese destroyers. So fighting against the Mutsuki or even a Fubuki, you can take on with very little trouble. I'm saying very little trouble. Basically, it always comes down to the situation, whether or not it's a one-on-one fight, or the fact that, is your aim correct? Like, are you aiming correctly? Or the fact that, are they good at aiming? So, kind of variable. I will have to say, the Hatsuharu never really expected to come back to the ship. Now, we move all the way back up north, and I'm going to deploy the tactic that American destroyers have always used: sitting behind an island and ambushing. Well, we do know there is a Colorado, and he is currently moving up north. We'll actually go ahead and click on him, because this is actually what I'm watching right now. And we do have a cyclone coming in, which is going to be beneficial because it does limit the detection of ships to 8 kilometers, more or less. Spotting range is decreased to 8 kilometers, is probably a better way of saying it. And here's one weird thing about this captain. Now, there is an enemy CV, and the enemy CV is going to spot me. You can see the dive bombers are incoming, and I'm just thinking to myself, why this have to happen right then? Because the Colorado was just about around the island, and fortunately, I was able to smoke up. So if that captain was paying attention, he should know there is a enemy destroyer just sitting around this corner. Should realize that he's probably going to get torpedoed. Well, let's see. Actually, I need to click on him. Fire both spreads. Can we take out the Colorado? Now, it's possible that the aircrafts did spot the torpedoes. I don't really quite certain on the mechanics on that, but torpedoes look good. 5 torpedoes, and we are able to take out the enemy Colorado. Now, we do have a ARP Nachi, which is essentially the Miyoko reskinned for the Steel, the anime. I completely forgot what it's called right now. Should feel ashamed. But he's probably fire torpedoes, and it's probably a very good idea to actually start moving away. And there is the Leningrad that has been around for a little while. We do spot him, but he does smoke up. And at this time, the Cyclone is in full force, so we can no longer really detect anyone outside 8 kilometers. Do get a few shots fired on that Leningrad, but he does disappear. But we do get, you know, a decent hit on him. We caused the fire, not incapacitated something. Sure, he probably was able to repair it because we are not getting any fire damage. Now, I will have to say, if I could, I would probably skip the Hatsuharu again. If I had the free experience, I would do it. But the fact is, I want the USS Missouri, and I really want the Mighty Mo. And if anyone's been living under a rock recently, the Mighty Mo obviously is a premium Tier 9 battleship based off the Iowa. She's probably one of our more famous battleships in the U.S. Navy. And she is the first Tier 9 premium ship there is in World of Warships at this time. So it's going to cost a lot for anyone to purchase her. It costs 750,000 free experience, which I calculated after having 100,000 free experience of costing more than $100. I think it was like 120, something like that. So it's gonna be a while before I get the Mighty Mo, which I'm sad. I really am. I really do want the Mighty Mo, but not much I can do about that. So the Leningrad should be taken down by our friendly Leningrad. So that should not be a major issue. There we go. Looks like the Leningrad finally took him out. Now we do know there is a enemy Nagato that is currently pushing north, which he has no backup because the Miyoko has actually moved away, and I'm launching torpedoes right again with the same aspect that this Nagato is moving in towards us, but he does decide to start turning away. We were fortunate to actually get a fire, but I think his damage control is up. Yeah, I'm really not liking the fact that having to go through the Hatsuharu. I know I'm really bitching right now. I understand that fully, but it just comes down to she was probably the worst ship on the IGN destroyer line going through the first time, and she is still probably one of the worst ships going through the IGN destroyer line so far. Now, you can upgrade her. I probably will not fully upgrade her, so I will go ahead and tell you that you can get the upgraded torpedoes, which increases the range to 10 kilometers. The torpedo speed is around 60 knots, if memory serves me. So they're not the quickest, but at least you have that additional 3.5 kilometer range that would be beneficial actually torpedoing enemy targets. But I will be adding a additional video showing off the other tactic that I mentioned earlier about using the enemy ship's momentum to carry it into your path of torpedoes. So we will be seeing that after this, but teams are fairly close. We are ahead 1 ship to theirs, but I'm going to try to move to cap, but I don't know how lucky we are going to be. Alright, so just a little further along, since not really much is happening, there is at least 2 destroyers and 2 battleships moving in from the east side. The east side has fallen, and we've also lost our friendly CV, which is highly unfortunate. But then again, the friendly CV decided to be a sitting airfield instead of an actual carrier, so I really don't blame him. 'Cause you really should know and understand that, hey, the enemy team's actually pushing up towards me, I should move. No. So the enemy frigate decides to go ahead and pop up. a Hatsuharu against a frigate. Not a really good battle, to say the very least, because the USN destroyer line has such a higher rate of fire compared to you, but you can see we do pretty decent damage against that frigate. We caught a fire, and we're able to take him out. Very, very nice. Now there is a enemy Sean Horse bringing his guns to bear, but at the exact same time, there's also a enemy New Mexico coming in as well. Oh, choices. I rather choose to go after the New Mexico. That would be a much more viable target because he has no torpedoes to fire against me. He is firing HE. I wonder if he had that preloaded, because his first salvo, it was HE. I'm gonna bet. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he realized that a destroyer was coming his way and he loaded HE. We'll say that, because I've seen some battleship captains that will always fire HE even against other broadside cruisers or battleships. And trying to get my torpedoes off, I am low on health. His secondaries are firing away. He did take out my torpedoes. We do go down, but we get 2 torpedoes hit and our 3rd kill of the game, plus a flesh wound. Very nice. Not bad for my very first game. So I'm going to go ahead and show off the other tactics, so I will see you guys in just a second. Alright everyone, welcome back to the second replay that I had with my Hatsuharu, and this is here to kind of demonstrate the other tactic you can use whenever you're facing against enemy ships that are moving towards you and you have very short range torpedoes plus a very large detection. So we have a enemy Nagato that is currently being fired on by, I believe, a Belfast, actually. Yeah, there is a Belfast and my friend in his Dunkirk. So he is currently moving along. He does not know that there is a destroyer nearby. He is detected, so he's currently moving along. Now, one good tactic is knowing when to turn away. You can see that I was moving towards him and fired my torpedoes around 7.3, and then I started turning away and started trying to get away as fast as I can. This is very, very important for your torpedoes to actually land properly, because if he does detect you, he's gonna figure something's up. There are probably torpedoes incoming. And I did fire the torpedoes at the indication line, which can be beneficial. Sometimes you don't always need to follow that, but this Nagato does us a favor and he turns right into it, and we get 4 torpedoes and a devastating strike on a Nagato, so not bad. But I still don't like the Hatsuharu. I was never thinking I was having to come back to the ship, but it's kind of a nice, I guess, look at a splitting of the Japanese line, which can probably mean that there is probably going to be further splitting of the already set lines on the U.S., Japanese, German, or the Soviet line. There might be further splitting. More than likely, this is just a test to see how well this goes, and it kind of breaks up what you consider the norm of a Japanese destroyer versus a U.S. destroyer. Now, Japanese actually has a gunboat, so we might see a United States destroyer that works better as a gunboat than a gunboat. Who knows? So this is actually going to be it for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.